Hey guys. So, a few odd things. I am literally shoved between my bed and my dresser right now. I struggled because I had to get my phone charging while I was making this video, but my charger is like this long. So I'm like, where can I plug this in and also record and have access to an outlet? And you get the idea. So this is where I am. You probably hear my air conditioner. I'm gonna do my best to be as loud as I possibly can so that you can hear me, because I do talk very quietly. Anyway, moving on. I wanted to update all of you and make a video. I am 1 year sober this month from alcohol. Have not had a drop since July 2021. I actually, fun fact, don't know the exact date of my sobriety. I wish I did, but this last time that I quit drinking, it was just kind of like a very abrupt sort of thing, and I was probably super stressed out and just didn't recall the date. So July 2021 is about all I know, and we're gonna just go with that. I hope you're all doing really well. It's been quite a long time. The last time I made a video, I had long red hair. I have since done a lot of really dramatic things to my hair. I went blonde. I damaged it severely from all the bleaching, so I ended up just cutting it shorter and shorter and shorter, and finally I ended up with this. So this is what we're doing. I wish that I could say that it was an easy year. It was not. There were definitely a lot of moments where I felt very strongly that I wanted to drink. Obviously didn't give in to any of those moments, because in my case, I feel that I've done this long enough to know that I know where the road leads. You may have heard me say that before, but I've just been sick and tired of being sick and tired too many times to count. That memory serves me well, and whenever I think about drinking, I just know exactly what's going to happen. Like, to a science, I can say, okay, you're gonna justify drinking on the weekends, one to two glasses. Okay, so then that's gonna transition into you drinking 3 to 4 nights a week, 2 to 3 glasses. And then that's gonna transition to you drinking nightly, 2 to 3 glasses. And then that's gonna transition to you drinking nightly 3 to 4 glasses. You know what I mean? I know the progression. I know myself enough to know that moderation has just never been something that I've been able to manage. I think that for people who use alcohol to cope and to self-medicate, moderation is never something that we're able to pull the reins in and settle on that. You know, say, well, I had an addiction, but I don't anymore, and now I can just drink every once in a while. Very few people can say that, if any. It usually will always trigger something in their brain and spiral them out of control. I feel, this is an opinion, but that, you know, there's body memory involved in a lot of this. It's not just random or coincidence. Our bodies remember how the alcohol made us feel, and our bodies just kind of bring us into submission of that old way of doing things, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's been a year. I've dealt with a lot. 2021 was rough. My mother passed away in March of 2021 of cancer. I was drinking pretty heavily around that time. I got married in April of 2021, about a month after my mother passed away. It was the summer, sometime in the summer, midsummer, that I quit drinking of last year. It just got to a point where we were drinking just to drink. You know, it was just purely habitual. There were nights where it took us probably half an hour before we took our first sip of wine, because it just got gross. It got to a point where our bodies were shutting down and rejecting the alcohol. Our bodies are smart, they're intelligent machines. They know when they've had enough. you know, and my body was screaming at me. It was just like, stop giving me this red wine. I need rest. I need to recover. My liver hurts. Took me a little bit to get on board with that, but I finally did, and I said, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. And I know I've said that before, many of us have, but I truly just felt like, you know, I'm in my 30s now, and my body is not as youthful as it was. You know, cells aren't regenerating as quickly as they used to. You know, you start to really feel those hangovers, and your body starts to really hurt. And I just didn't feel like dealing with it anymore. You know, I said, dude, I want to face my problems. I really want to just feel my feelings. I really want to just work through this finally, once and for all, you know? Because if not now, when? When am I going to do it? When am I going to do the inner work? Am I just going to constantly put it off to a later date? I mean, you know what I mean? It didn't make sense to me anymore to continue on the path I was continuing on. It was kind of like I was being lazy about it, you know? Like when you're in your 20s, you know, it's like, all right, you're in your 20s, go ahead. But I just sort of felt like, all right, I'm in my 30s, I should probably turn my life around right now. And that was what prompted me. So that's what we're doing. We're a year sober. Now, what do I do when I feel like I want to drink? I think that's something that a lot of people want to know. I sit with the feeling. You know, easier said than done. I hear you, but I sit with the feeling. And I ask myself, what's going on? How are you feeling? You know, where do you think this feeling came from? Where do you think it started? What were you thinking about the last 10, 15 minutes? You know, what happened today that sort of got your body all out of whack? And this is the other thing that I've been really looking a lot into, nervous system health and regulation, the importance of that, and how that affects, you know, like 90+% of mental health issues people have is a dysregulated nervous system, just constantly being in a state of chronic stress, fight or flight. You know, the body sees that as, you know, danger, right? Your immune system is sensing danger when you're in a chronic state of stress. Your immune system is sensing danger when you're thinking constantly about the past or stressful things that bother you, or, you know, some confrontation that you had recently. If you don't ever move yourself out of that place mentally, your body is going to start to habitually think that you're just in a constant state of fight or flight. You're in a constant state of being threatened. And then as a result, you just live in this perpetual state of terror. I don't know how else to describe it. You know, for me, the last 2 months, you know, I hate to say the C word, but I got the virus for the second time a couple months ago. And I'm telling you, that virus attacks your nervous system. And it hit me so different the second time that I had it. Within a few days of catching it, I started to experience panic attacks. I have never been the same since. So I kind of attribute some of what I'm experiencing lately to that. But that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I started to look into more of this nervous system regulation, because for me, I feel like if I can get myself back into my body, into a state of total awareness and presence in my body, then I can really let go of a lot of these things that I'm holding on to mentally. It's really taught me a lot about the reality that is, I'm living 99.9% of my life on a daily basis inside of my head. I'm constantly thinking, I'm constantly worrying, I'm constantly analyzing, I'm constantly assessing, I'm constantly replaying scenarios, replaying, you know, events that took place weeks ago. they'll pop up in my head, and I'll start thinking about them, and I'll spend 20 minutes on a thought about something that's just totally irrelevant and not needed. And it's that constant thought process and constantly overthinking, and it leads to this like just insane amount of overstimulation in my brain. I mean, that coupled with just being a mom, there's always wheels turning, and not even slowly, at rapid speeds inside my brain. And I think that that's been a thing for me for a long time. And I think that I've used alcohol to calm down that rapid fire thought process that I have. You know, to just kind of say, oh, this is really exhausting on my brain. I want to calm it down. Because, you know, alcohol does help with that, or had helped with that, or so it seemed. I shouldn't say that. I don't want to encourage it, but it gave the illusion of relaxing things that it wasn't really relaxing them. Obviously, they don't go away, and you've heard me talk about that before here. But it makes them temporarily disappear. And if that's the best we have at times, if that's the best we can do, if that's as good as it's gonna get, then a lot of us are gonna settle for that. You know, a lot of us are gonna settle for the hangovers and the disrupted hormones and just feeling like we're in a constant state of anxiety and depression, just so that we can get rid of it for a few hours at night. Think about that. Sit with that for a little while. I'm gonna cause myself worse feelings. I'm gonna throw my mental health state into a worsened state, my physical health down the drain, so that I can damage my body and my mind and my emotions by drinking. Because for a few hours this evening, or however many times a day you drink, or whatever hours you drank, for me it was often at nighttime. I feel like for most people it's at night, at the end of the day. But for a few hours, I'm gonna make it all go away, but at the expense of making it worse when I'm not drinking. But it'll feel like it's okay when I am. But when I'm not, it's gonna feel worse than if I didn't, and I actually faced my fears, and I faced my past, and I faced my trauma, and I faced my issues. And I feel like acknowledging that is really important. You know, a lot of people feel like it's willpower. You know, and this is why people will get sober for 30 days and then go back to drinking. And they'll get sober for 3 months and then they'll go back to drinking, because they're just willing themselves to quit. Day 1, day 15, day 22, good for you. But you're not fixing the problem. You're just counting days. And I understand that, you know, in the very beginning, that's everything to someone in sobriety. And I respect that, and I honor that, and I truly believe that that is your best, and that is beautiful, and I applaud that. But when you get to that next level of sobriety, you'll start to realize that the only thing that you've done is abstained from drinking for X amount of days. You know, if we don't fix the underlying issues, then the 30 to 60 days that you were sober was literally just a Band-Aid on top of a gushing wound. You know, it kept the blood in, but it didn't fix anything. And I really feel like this is gospel truth right here. You have to get a grip on it. What is going on? What is going on in your mind, in your life? What happened? Where did it start? Why does it hurt? You have to sit with it. It's important. And this is why people constantly recommend meditation, meditation, meditation. Because when you sit with yourself and you bring yourself into the present moment, and the brain stops thinking and you're just experiencing, it's an incredible thing. I've done it recently. I've actually had a few moments where I've attempted meditating, and I was really all there in those moments, and there wasn't a thought going on. I was just experiencing the moment, and I was like, whoa. There was like a flash of like, holy crap, I don't have to worry about anything. There's nothing here but life, the problems are in the thoughts. I mean, that's just reality. The problems are in the thoughts. They're not in reality, they're in the mind. We're upset because we're thinking about things that happened in another time that will never happen again, likely, but we're allowing it to rob us of our joy and our peace in the now. And so, just to get back to that thought, when you sit with the feeling and you allow yourself to think about and feel where it's coming from, then you can let it go. And how you do that is by not attaching to it. I'm not gonna get spiritual on you guys, but I've been doing a lot of, ego study and, just learning about the person that we think we are, our personality, our person, our ego, and just how that is like the source of so many issues in our lives. We identify with the past, and we identify with, even the present. When you allow yourself, when you personalize the things that are going on in your life, instead of just experiencing your life, you personalize it, that's where all the issues are coming from, because you're identifying with it. I want you guys to not focus on the destination. There's such a temptation at times to focus on this end result, right? We fantasize about my sober life. My sober life is going to be my best life. There's something else that this past year has taught me, and it is that sobriety is amazing. Sobriety brings clarity and healing and a greater capacity for joy and bliss and love and all those wonderful things. But sobriety doesn't mean that life becomes perfect. Even a year in, I can tell you, I am feeling probably the worst in the last 2 months, mental health wise, that I have felt in a long, long time. And I know that if I was drinking, it would be a million times worse than it is right now. Am I looking at sobriety as the fix-all for all of my problems? No, because it's not. I'm here to shatter that illusion for you. Sobriety isn't the fix-all. It's not even the answer. It is a stepping stone on the way to healing, because it is the clarity bringer. It is the bringer of clarity. When you remove the illusion, that the veil that alcohol places over your eyes, the eyes of your physical body, and the eyes of your heart, and the eyes of your mind, when you remove that veil, that glaze of booze that you have covering over everything and making everything confused and just anxious and awful, when you remove that, you can see clearly. That's the gift sobriety gives. It gives clarity. Then you can begin to work on these things. So stop thinking, once I become sober, my life's going to be perfect. It's going to be so... Yes, it becomes amazing. But it doesn't become amazing just because you're abstaining from alcohol. It becomes amazing because it's that launching pad into your next chapter. I hope that makes sense. I hope this has been helpful to you. I try to offer my wisdom in a way that people can understand and relate to. I love the community that we've built here. I know I'm not always on here making videos consistently, but I do try to give you updates every few months because I know a lot of people find these videos to be really helpful. Being alive is a crazy adventure, and it can really hurt sometimes. And I know that most of the people watching know that alcohol is not the answer. I know that, because if you thought it was, you probably wouldn't be watching these videos. And I applaud you for being strong enough to seek answers and help and healing. You know, these are big steps we don't give ourselves credit for. Seeking out help is huge. A lot of people don't do that for whatever reason. So, good job. I will continue to update you where I can, where time allows. The sober life it's the best life. I love feeling my feelings, even the shitty ones. I love learning how to be where I am and learning to love it, even as I'm hating it in the moment. You know, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to be here. Ugh, I don't want to, you know. Sometimes even with my kids, I'm like, oh, I don't want to play that game with them right now. And it's like, get out of your head and just go be in life. This is life. Always trying to be on my phone or in a movie or working a lot or just doing something else. We're constantly trying to get away from here. And this is where life is happening, is right here. Try to figure out why you're trying to run away from it. That's my advice to you. Why are you trying to run away from it? I think that's a good starting place. Alright guys, I'm gonna head out from here. This video is quite long, but I will talk with you all soon. Please leave your comments. I like reading them. I like responding to them, leaving you words of encouragement, so definitely connect with me. I'm happy to do so, and I will see you in the next video. Yay to 1 year sober! Yay!